In the fall of 1987, I had just recovered from ankle surgery that had prevented me from walking for more than 6 months. On Wednesday night, April 15th of that year, I was playing in a league softball game at Chapman's Field in South Dade. I led off the game with a single and tried to stretch the hit into a double. I desperately slid into second base as I was being thrown out by the center fielder. My foot hit the base awkwardly and I immediately felt intense pain. When I looked down, my foot was sideways. I laid there on the field until the ambulance arrived and took me to the hospital where I required surgery. The doctors seemed worried about complications and were reluctant to perform the surgery until some tests were completed. When they finally discharged me, I had missed 1 week of work. I returned the next day with a large cast and crutches. 2 days later, I was fired. The company had been recently sold and the new owners did not see loyalty as a valid consideration. I remember our conversation like it was yesterday. The partners said, "I know this is a bad time for you, but when it comes to money, I don't have a heart." 6 months later, I was desperate for work, still unable to walk. I prayed earnestly for the Lord to intervene in my circumstances. I had seen the surgeon every week for 6 straight weeks, and each time he said, "1 more week." Very frustrating. And of course, I endured the criticism of others saying I was prolonging this on my own. When the doctor finally released me, the Lord provided a job the very next day. During the next couple of years, God blessed me with a series of business relationships that eventually brought me to the doorstep of Carolina Mountain Water and President Joe Dwyer. At that time, Carolina Mountain was the top-selling water in the state of Florida. I met Joe during my employment in an accounting firm where I customized and automated spreadsheets to analyze his statewide store sales. I have no idea why, but Joe instantly took me under his wing, giving me much-needed confidence and providing opportunities that I never would have dreamed or expected. I had worked 10 different jobs in 15 years. The longest I was employed at any one place was 5 years in the family accounting firm. It wasn't until 1986 that I got my first computer and everything fell into place. It was as if I was meant for computer analysis and programming. The skills were intuitive and unexplainable. Within a few months after working with Joe, I was persuaded to begin a daunting task of writing a bottled water distribution program for the local Miami distributor. Joe complained that all of their processes were manual and out of control. He felt that automating them would help them right the ship. I had learned some programming languages in college and had adapted that knowledge to Lotus 1-2-3, which was the burgeoning spreadsheet program at that time. But I had no experience writing a complex freestanding computer program. The Lord provided a friend at church who offered to help me get started by showing me some of his coding and recommending some tools. He helped me greatly, and within just a few months, I had finished the first version of a distribution and invoice module ready for troubleshooting. By mid-1990, Dispatch was completed and being promoted to all the water company's distributors across the country. Soon after, the manager of the Miami distributor resigned and I was asked to replace him. I continued improving and adding components to my program. By the next year, 6 distributors were using Dispatch. This required a lot of travel for training and customization. I spent 1 week out of every 10 in Las Vegas during that year, where that large distributor had unique needs. And through that connection, I convinced the owner to purchase my company. At a distributor convention in Atlanta, he had offered me a job working for him with his network of companies. I just could not leave Miami with my children living there. I countered by asking him to buy my company, and I could work on the other companies from there. Within a few months, he purchased the company, and our relationship blossomed. Unfortunately, he died unexpectedly 6 months later, and everything fell apart. Another rough season, holding the company together long enough to find another buyer. Months later, Waterboy purchased it, and I was retained as the manager. Through the season of advancement, I had not forgotten my season of loss. In August 1989, I had written a song for our small music group at church titled "He is the One." The words encapsulated the lessons learned in that rough season in my life. A few weeks later, we were prepared to perform the song at church, which touched many during the service. The Lord used my personal struggles and failures as a testimony to His amazing faithfulness. Later, we determined that this song did not fit the profile for Alabaster Praise. For a number of years, I had a basic recording, waiting for the opportunity to record a better version. In 1997, I re-recorded in my home studio for safekeeping. This version was sung live to keyboard programming and acoustic guitar. By no means a completed project. He is the One has always had a special place in my heart, as it describes that season of loss and God's faithfulness in the midst of uncertainty and doubt.
Father's heart's delight, her steps soon turn to flight, protecting precious children as they grow. Little feet soon stray, and as He lets them go away, He keeps them from a harm they'll never know. Once again, once again, feeble and frail, so prone to fall and fail, yet the moment fails to catch His careful eye. Restless and confused, at times He seems amused at the clamor of our doubts as we pass by. Once again, once again, He is the One who clothes the lilies with a grace. He is the One who holds the planets in their place. Sovereign decrees. Aren't you worth much more than these? Is He worthy of the trust you long to share? He is the One who calms the raging of the storm. He is the One who hides the sparrow safe and warm. Unfailing love, descending from above, to snatch us in the clutches of its care. Footprints in the sand, clinging tightly to His hand, as He gently guides our steps along the way. Lured by foolish gain, and as our hearts are purged in pain, we feel His tender mercy as we pray. Once again, once again, He is the One trust you long to share. He is the one who calms the raging of the storm. He is the one who hides the sparrow safe and warm. Unfailing love, descending from above, to snatch us in the clutches of its care. As we hunger heavy laden and distressed, we cast our burdens down to take his yoke and into rest. He is the one who calms the raging of the storm. He is the one who hides the sparrow safe and warm. Unfailing love, descending from above, to snatch us in the clutches of its care. To snatch us in the clutches of its care. Oh.